Hello and welcome to this video on the past simple. This is main use number 2. In this video, we're going to be looking at using the past simple to talk about repeated events or actions in the past. So let's begin. Right, past simple, main use number 2. Now, as I mentioned, we can also use the past simple to talk about repeated actions or events in the past, to talk about habits. Let me show you what I mean. When I was a boy, I usually got up at 7 a.m. So when I was a boy, I usually got up, past simple, got up at 7 a.m. So you can see the timeline between the ages of 5 and 17. Going to school was 7 a.m., 7 a.m., 7 a.m. Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Another one. I went on holiday to Ireland every year when I was a boy, every year, and I loved it. I was born in England, I grew up in England, but my mother is Irish, my father was Irish, all my family, my aunts, my uncles, everybody Irish. And so I used to go on holiday to Ireland every year. Every year I went on holiday to Ireland. Beautiful country. Visit Ireland if you get a chance. Visit Ireland, please. So you can see from the timeline, from the ages of 3 to the age of 17, every year was to Ireland. Next one. He took his driving test 3 times before he passed. He took his driving test 3 times before he passed. Again, have a look at the timeline. You can see failed his test, and then he passed. So took is the past simple in this sentence. And also passed. Now it's your turn to make a past simple sentence. Now I'm going to run through the form, the structure with you first. You can begin with I and then had, lived, the past form of the verb, and then the rest of the sentence. They, you, we, same thing, had, lived, etc. And he, she, it, with had, lived, etc. So if you notice, great thing about the past simple is that the form is the same for everybody in these sentences. Doesn't matter if it's I or you or he or she, it's all the same. Makes life easier. All right. I'd like you to answer these questions. I'm going to ask you a question and you answer, okay? I'd like you to ask me this. How did you go to school when you were a child? How did you go to school when you were a child? And I'd like you to tell me by bus. By bus. So how did you go to school when you were a child? And tell me by bus. Begin your sentence with I. All right? Give me that sentence. You ready? Hope you said this. I went to school by bus when I was a child. So I'm going to go through these questions and answers relatively quickly. Just pause the video if you need more time to think, okay? Another question. What did you do? What did you do every weekend when you were a child? What did you do every weekend when you were a child? And I'd like you to tell me that you, go swimming. Tell me that you went swimming every weekend when you were a child. Go swimming. Tell me that. You ready? Sure? I went swimming every weekend when I was a child. One more. Where did you go on holiday when you were a child? Where did you go on holiday when you were a child? And you decide, you tell me. Make it true for you. Where did you go on holiday when you were a child? Ready? Hope you said this. I went on holiday to blah, 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 when I was a child. Great. Now it's your turn to ask a past simple question. This will be a yes/no question with the past simple. So we'll begin with were, and then you, and then the rest of the question. Or it could be was, with he, she, and it, and then the rest of the question. Or it could be was plus I, and then the rest of the question. Now with these question structures, it could be a passive, were you born in, or it could be an adjective, were you tired last night, or a noun afterwards, were you a student last year, perhaps. Now you've also got questions with did, and then it's did, he, she, it, plus the verb, the infinitive of the verb, and then the rest of the question. Or did, I, they, we, you, and the infinitive of the verb, and then the rest of the question. So here we are. I'd like you to tell me, well, ask me this question. Ask me. You would like to know if I went to school by bus when I was a child. Ask me. You would like to know if I went to school by bus when I was a child. Please ask me. Ready? Hope you said this. Did you go to school by bus when you were a child? Yes. From the age of 11, 12, I went to school by bus when I was a child. From the age of about 11 or 12 years old. Next one. You would like to know if I went swimming every weekend when I was a child. You would like to know if I went swimming every weekend when I was a child. Please ask me. Ready? Hope you said this. Did you go swimming every weekend when you were a child? Nearly, not every weekend, but many, many weekends. Loved swimming, still love swimming. But yes, most weekends I went swimming. Loved it. Another one. You would like to know if I went on holiday to Ireland every year when I was a child. You would like to know if I went to Ireland every year on holiday when I was a child. Please ask me that. Ready? Sure? Hope you said this. Did you go on a holiday to Ireland every year when you were a child? Yes. Absolutely yes. Wonderful, beautiful, all my cousins, lots of fun. Great. Really good memories. Now it's your turn to ask a WH, past simple question. Again, I'll go through the structure with you. Begin with what, where, and then did, I, you, they, we, and then the infinitive of the verb. What, where, etc., did, he, she, and it, infinitive of the verb. Or what, who, for example, and then the past form of the verb, the past simple of the verb, and then the object. Now, here's the questions for you. You would like to know where I went on holiday when I was a child. You want to know where I went on holiday when I was a child. Ask me. Begin your question with where. Ready? Hope you said this. Where did you go on holiday when you were a child? Or where did you usually go on holiday when you were a child? Ireland. Ireland, 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 Ireland. Always. Another one. You'd like to know what I did at the weekend when I was a child. You want to know what I did at the weekend when I was a child. Please ask me that. Ready? This. What did you do at the weekend when you were a child? I went swimming, played with my friends, read a lot of books as well. I read a lot. Yeah. Another one. So when I was a child, you would like to know who usually cooked dinner when I was a child. You want to know who usually cooked dinner. So who. Begin your question with who. Ready? Hope you said this. Who usually cooked dinner when you were a child? My mother. It was usually my mother. Now, if you would like to know the difference between the top two questions and that bottom question, who usually cooked dinner, please have a look at my form videos of the past simple, and I'll explain the difference between those two types of questions, okay? And that's it for this video. Thank you very much. Remember, we've got practice video you can watch. I'll ask you questions, you ask me questions, and you can make sure that you use the past simple correctly. There's also a quiz that you can do, test your knowledge, see what you know. As always, take very good care of yourselves. Have fun, and I hope to see you soon. Take care.